Yo, this is it. I'm Mr. Fade, and you'll listen to Attack of the Beats on IllMuzik.com. Once again, another 5 beats, another 5 reviews. And I'm a bit off schedule. Just a couple days. Had some stuff to do, but no worries. We're back on schedule now, and here we are with the show. So let's get into it right away. First up, we've got Beats by Black with beat number 1. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Beats by Black with beat number 1. All right, so for this one, you started off pretty cheesy with that synth there, and I was like, what the hell is that? And, forget about that because, then you brought in the real synth, and it sounded really, really dope and stuff. But, no, I was just thinking because when I heard that synth at the beginning, I was like, there's no excuse for some cheesy synths today from anyone because, even if you're just starting out, because, there's tons of free VSTs you can get and all that, and you can just play around with that. And there are actually some good sounds. You just got to really look for them. Once you find the right VSTs, you install them, and you're good to go because, back in the day, you had, some cheesy ones like sound fonts, instead of plugins, you had sound fonts, and there was some really lame ones out there. They just sounded like some really low budget Casio type stuff and whatever. So, but today there's no excuse for that. So, but anyway, besides that though, you bring in the real synth, which is dope. And I like it 'cause it's a nice melody. It's a nice tune you have. Okay, it's good. And the drums were on point, except the snare I would bring down a bit in the mix because it was a little too hard on my ears. It was just smacking a little too much. And what I liked was the bass line because you were following the beat. You're following the kick. And that's what I like to do when I'm doing my bass line. You follow the kick because it gives it a nice groove when you do that, instead of just having just some random bass line on it. The problem I have with the bass, though, is that it's got like a stereo reverb sound to it. So I don't know what sound you're using for that bass or whatever, but I would just make it sound, more mono, more muffled because... Yeah, I don't know. It just kind of didn't sit well in the mix for me, But it did sound nice, like that, the way you used it. I just didn't like the sound of the actual bass too much because, like I said, it's like the stereotype sound or whatever. So, and even though the synth is really good, though, the only problem I had with it is the fact that it's too much of a lead. So you got to think. Don't forget, if you're going to put some vocals on top of this, you're trying to sell this beat. Let's say, for example, You want to make sure you leave some room for the MC, and you did that later on when you muffled the synth a bit or whatever. So just think about that, maybe make some hooks, and do stuff like that. Muffle it for the verse, and then for the hook, bring in the main synth, whatever. So just think about that, just in case you didn't think about that. But that's just something to be aware of, because you never know. I mean, you might end up working with an artist. They might want that beat, so you got to alter it somehow. But for what it is here today, yeah, it's a good beat. I really like it. I just think it needs a few adjustments, and you're good to go. All right, so next up we've got Danny Lind with Intergalactic Enemies. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was Danny Lind with Intergalactic Enemies. All right, so for this one, here's the thing, man. You've got this really eerie sounding music going on. Okay, it's a nice little tune, a nice melody. I love the synth work. I love the way the beat moves, it progresses and everything. What takes away from it, though, is the snare right off the bat. Because the snare, it's like, I would just change that snare completely, because it's okay. It's just that because of the type of sound you have, the type of melody you got going, since it's eerie and all that stuff and very spacious, I would get a snare that just, smacks a little, add some reverb, and that'll just, complement the nice tune you have. Okay. And then you add in the other stuff, the percussion, you have like the wood block. I think it was like a finger snap tube or something. And, that's okay, but it just didn't sound like it just blends properly with the rest of the music. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I'm listening to it, I'm thinking it's kind of like if you're, you got some nice sample going, let's say, or a synth or whatever, all of a sudden you bring in like a country guitar, like a banjo or something, like it's not going to sound good. It's not gonna, it might sound good on its own, but when you blend it in with the other stuff, it just doesn't go right, so it's kind of off, you know what I mean? So I just get that feeling when I heard the wood block and all that stuff. So, but because you have that, the piz strings and all that, you have that playing, and, it just brings some nice, brightness, to that eeriness. So then why don't you complement that with the snare, So that was the main thing, was really the snare. So just change that up, and I think, just tweak it a bit. With the percussion and all that, just take some of that stuff out, because the rest of the stuff is really good. I really like it. The kick was good, low end's good. It's just really that snare that I was focusing on as I was listening to it. So maybe take a look at that, because I think yeah, if you do the hard snare with the reverb, that'll really complement the rest, man, because I like it. It's a nice eerie synth. So yeah, that's about it, but it's a good beat. All right, so next up we've got No Nonsense Beats with Dirty 30. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was No Nonsense Beats, Dirty 30. All right, so for this one, it's one of those beats where, because it's, you're just looping the same thing over and over again, it's good to do that. It's just that I just think you're just missing a couple of things, okay? Like, first of all, the drums, all that stuff, just leave it as is. It's good, okay? You don't really need much of a low end because the sample itself is heavy and it hits hard, so that's going to fill that gap. But because that sample, first of all, I don't know if it's just me, but it sounds like it's panned a little to the left. So if it is, I would put it center, because you want it to be one of those hard hitting beats, a hard hitting sample or whatever. And it's a bit to the left, so it kind of took away from it a bit. But anyway, the sample itself is good. I just think that really you could loop it over and over, but then I would just add in like a little something here and there. Like, for example, I'm thinking a little scratch, a little bit of a record scratch, just like a little wiki, that type of thing. Do that, randomly, and then make a hook, and then do some other scratching on the hook, or maybe just some little vocal snippets coming in or whatever. But for the hook, make it like completely different than what you have here. Like, this loop is whatever, so on your hook, make a totally different sound, a totally different sample you're using that you're looping or whatever, so it could be anything, whatever, and then have some scratching with that or something, like I said, vocal snippets. I think that's all it is really that you need, because right now it's just a loop, so it's dope. It's just that I just think it's like a good starting point. So just, build on it and just add a few things to it. That's all you really need to do, and it'll be even better. So, but I like it. Like I said, I don't know if it's just me, but I think it should be dead center. And let me know, because I don't know, maybe I'm going deaf in my right ear. I don't know. Getting old, man. We're all getting old, so. All right, okay, so next up we've got On and Calf with Morning Cuts. Let's check it out. All right. Okay, so that was On and Calf with Morning Cuts. All right, so with this beat, I like it because it's smooth. You have the smooth keys. Love the smooth keys. And the drums are on point. I would bring the snare down just a bit. It was smacking a little too hard for my liking or whatever. But the keys are really nice, though. I like that. I just think that I'm guilty of this myself, too, because I use the keys a lot. And sometimes you want to play the keys, like Rhodes, let's say, or whatever, but, it's just very loud, and we all have to remember that, Rhodes keys and all that stuff, they're meant to be played pretty much mellow, right? I mean, you can play it loud if you want, but it's pretty much, especially with hip-hop, right, you want to play it a little mellow and stuff, so I would just try to maybe have a part where you're playing it mellow, or at least just play it loud on the hook or something like that. And then when you bring in the horns for the hook and a little vocal snippet, that's nice. I mean, I really like that. The horns were really good. Although I wouldn't pan it all the way left like you had. I'd pan it, maybe, a third of the way or something. Then later on at the end, you brought in the piano onto the right, which is good. And the piano was good. I just found it was, I'm not going to say out of tune. It just, I don't know. It just didn't seem like it was the right note. It was just slightly off. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but maybe it was just like too high pitched or something. I don't know. But because you had a nice vibe going and everything, and it's great that you brought that piano in, I just think that, I don't know, it's just like you just needed like some other type of piano to go there instead. Okay, just something, maybe it just sounds a little deeper. I don't know. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, I would just maybe play with that or something, just fix those little things, whatever. But I especially the keys, I think that's the main thing was the keys, the Rhodes keys, whatever, is that just mellow it out a bit, it's because, I don't know. I mean, I do that too, sometimes I'm just like, yeah, this is great, this is dope. I listen to it again, and a couple days later, I'm like, this is pretty loud, man. This is pretty fucking loud. So anyway, yeah, so just play with that and try that, see how it turns out. But I do like it. It's really smooth. It's like a summertime beat. I like that shit. All right, so next up, we got Steven Diaz with Later. Let's check it out.
Play this record as frequently as possible. Play this record as frequently as possible. Get down, get down, get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Coulda struck the lotto. Coulda struck the lotto. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Switch my motto. Get down. Coulda struck the lotto. Get down. Play this record as frequently as possible. Play this record as frequently as possible. Get down. Get down. Get down. Coulda struck the lotto. Get down. Switch my motto. Switch my motto. Coulda struck the lotto. Play this record as frequently as possible.
All right. Okay, so that was Steven Diaz with Later. So this is kind of like the previous beat with On and Calf, where it's just the same thing. The keys are nice. I like it. It's a nice little loop. It's just that they're a little too powerful, So I would just ease back on those keys just slightly because it's a little too loud in the mix, I guess. Like in your case, it's just the pitch of it. When you add it in with the rest of it, I know it just sounds a little too much on the high end for me or whatever. But it is dope though. I do like it. Just maybe just ease up. just bring it down a bit in the mix. I don't know, something like that. Or maybe just compress it, somewhat. And I like the little vocal snippets here, a couple little scratches, whatever. That was good. It's a nice addition. The thing that I wasn't sure about was the bass, because you had that sound that was playing like after the first, kick of every hit. You get the kick and then you get the little boom that comes in. I'm assuming that's the bass line, and it's dope. It's just that it doesn't sound like a bass line, right? It sounds like it's just a dark, deep sound, but it's just very light. It sounds like it's in the upper range. It's not really like a low end part. You know what I mean? So, you could keep it the way you have it, maybe just make it a little lighter and then add an actual bass line to the bottom of it, because right now the drums are nice. I just think that it needs some thickness underneath. So, you could do the same thing, just take that bass that you have, if it is a bass sound, take that, put that as an actual bass. I don't know what you're using. I don't know if that's a sample or a VST or whatever, but I just think you need a proper bass line to go with this beat, because that's really the only thing that's missing. And I enjoyed it. It was a nice beat. It's a nice little loop. It sounds like kind of like an interlude or whatever. I wouldn't necessarily use it for rapping over, but it's possible. But it's just I think it's more or less for an interlude and all that. But just check the bassline thing. That was the main thing that I wasn't too sure about, and that just needs to be adjusted somewhat. So, but it's a dope beat, man. I like it. All right, so that's it from me. I'm Mr. Fade. This is Attack of the Beats. Keep sending the beats in. I'll keep reviewing them. Don't forget to post in the forums and reply and let me know what's up and all that. And be on the lookout for some other stuff coming soon on IllMuzik. We got some dope shit coming up. And so my favorite beat this time, the winner is, drumroll please, Beats by Black with Beat 1. Let's check it out.